Subriel Matias last year has become known as the Boogey Man of the 140-pound division. It appears that some fighters are reluctant to face him, seeing as how he made his last 5 opponents quit. However, there is one fighter that is willing to step to the smoke in a time where people are saying nobody wants to fight Matias. He says, not only do I want to fight him, but after watching his last performance, it made me more confident that we can beat him. Let's get into the video.
The greatest, the greatest, the greatest. I know what I'm talking about.
You think you're tough?
That's it. It's over.
You be alright. You tough, right?
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Tough Glove Boxing. So you see the thumbnail, you heard the intro. Listen, I wanted to do this video last week, but I got kind of caught up, right? Now, Subriel Matias at 140 pounds is known as the Boogey Man. And for whatever reason, the fights with the other champions are not happening. We know why it's not happening with Rolly, right? They want to set up the the Pitbull Cruz 2 versus Tank rematch, which is why they putting Rolly in there to lose the belt to Isaac Cruz in the first place, right? But we got Teofimo Lopez, we got Devin Haney. We all know why those fights fell through. I'm not really sure what happened with the Devin Haney side of it, but those fights is not happening. I'm not here to talk about that. What I am here to talk about, it's a lot of Subriel Matias fans saying that everybody is scared of him. Gary Russell Jr. has called out Subriel Matias. Subriel Matias responded and said, he keeps calling me out, but every time we go to make the fight happen, they don't want the fight. I can't hold Subriel Matias, right, feet to the fire for that one, because if they calling his name out and he say, okay, then let's fight, and they don't take the fight for whatever reason, that's on them. Right? Unless he's just trying to give him a deal, one of those deals that he know they're going to turn down. I really doubt that that is the mindset of somebody like Subriel Matias. Now, his handlers might be a different story. However, I was watching the Porter Way podcast. Shout out to Sean Porter. I love the podcast. I'm so glad to see it's growing. It's a really good boxing channel and one that is worthy of, you know, watching, because he knows the game from the inside out, all the way from, I'm talking about from the amateurs as a child all the way through to the pros, and being an accomplished athlete in the sport. So he definitely knows what he's talking about on the sports side of it and on the business side of it. He recently, about, I want to say 8 days ago, on the 24th, he did an interview with a fighter that I've been following, and I really want to get their opportunity, who's turned around their career amazing. He had a rough start, right? A couple rough outings, but other than that, he's always shown that he's had the heart of a dog, incredible boxing ability, right? The heart of a fighter, in his own words, with the skills and ability of a boxer. I think that will be a great fight for Matias, because if he can fight Ergashev, Ponce, right, Akhmadov, all of these fighters that people were saying nobody wanted to fight, why not Kenneth Sims? Out of everybody that I've heard Subriel Matias and his fans mention, Kenneth Sims' name never came up, and it should, because he's a factor at 140 pounds, even though he doesn't have a belt. Let's remember, guys, in 2022, Subriel Matias wasn't getting his fanfare, and he didn't have a belt either. So let's not issue on Sims. I know we Subriel Matias fans, but if you go back and you look at Kenneth Sims' fight, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, Kenneth Sims said, now we all know that recently, Subriel Matias, right? What the guy's name was Ergashev. Was that the guy that quit? Just got finished fighting Ergashev. Yeah, Ergashev, and made him quit. And after that performance, it seemed like Subriel Matias was going to have a hard time getting the top fights, because after his 5th straight opponent quitting, right, a lot of people don't want to get in the ring and have to deal with that type of pressure and toughness, right, that type of power. But Kenneth Sims said after he saw Subriel Matias put that devastating beating on Ergashev, to the point where Ergashev coward and didn't come out his own corner. It wasn't the coach that threw in the towel. It wasn't the doctors that stopped the fight. The ref didn't say he had enough. He thought about having to go back out there and face a man that he couldn't do nothing with. And after that display, that brilliant performance by Subriel Matias, Coach K, Texas, right? Kenneth Sims Jr. I think we can beat this guy. And Kenneth Sims said, and I'm going to let you hear it. Kenneth Sims Jr., right? I think he's with the Crawford camp, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was one of the first times he came off my radar, was a few fights ago, right? And I do love his ability, right? You can see the improvements in his style over the years, and I think he will be ready for a fight with Matias. He believes that he can beat Devin Teo, right? And Subriel Matias. Now, can he? I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to give him the opportunity because he does have the heart of a dog. He does have the elite level skills. He's part of a tremendous camp, right? We know Bomac and them, the Crawford camp, they don't play no games when it comes to training and work ethic. You know, I think Kenneth Sims, although he does have 2 losses, he hasn't lost in 5 years, and he's done what he's needed to do to prove that he's regained his focus and, you know, he's headed on an upward trajectory. Now, the question is, can Subriel Matias put a halt to that? See, because Kenneth Sims, for those who don't know him, and a lot of people may not know him yet, but he's ranked number 2 by the WBA. So he's not no low guy. He ain't a low guy. You understand? He holds some weight at 140 as far as his ranking is concerned and where he stands for his boxing ability. You know, Subriel Matias, some of those fighters that he fought, they weren't even ranked number 2. So make sure when you respond to this video, I don't want you to think I'm going against Subriel Matias, right? Because I don't know. In my mind, though, the breakdown I have in my mind how this fight goes, I'll tell you after we check out what Kenneth Sims said. But I feel like this, right? If Subriel Matias is having a hard time getting quality opponents in the ring, right? And we have somebody like Kenneth Sims Jr., who has a good record, right? Has good fights, is a dog, can box, has power, good feet, right? All of the things that, you know, we say the other fighters and the other champions at 140 have, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney. Now, I don't know up to what level Kenneth Sims has these abilities as far as facing Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez. He says that he believes those are winnable fights for him. You can't fault a man for his confidence, right? From what I see of his style, he does have a lot of good qualities, right? He makes adjustments. He has a good ring IQ, right? A very high skill ceiling, and he's a dog. Now, Subriel Matias, I think that will be a good fight to show us what a fight with Teo or Devin Haney may look like. Because, you know, Kenneth Sims Jr. is not the type that's going to play rock'em sock'em with you. He is fleet-footed and he knows how to utilize. He has really good ring generalship. So Subriel Matias is going to have to work for that victory. He's really going to have to work. There's only really one thing that bothers me about this fight that makes me feel like Subriel Matias pulls it out. And let's go ahead and listen to Kenneth Sims right quick. Shout out the Porterway podcast. Let's go ahead and show you part of the interview. You guys go check out the Porterway podcast, right? And check out the full interview. But this is just the part that I wanted to talk about, right? And I know I didn't do it earlier, but you know, I always want to take the time to thank you guys for checking out the content. You understand? I got to admit, you know, it's been a little hard to make boxing content lately with the way things have been going on boxing, but I have been brainstorming and coming up with ways to keep myself passionate about the sport, and I plan on changing up a few things on the platform just to make sure that I keep it 100% boxing, because I'm not with this, you know, it's almost like a gang war going on within the sport of boxing with the YouTube channels going at each other. It's just crazy, but I'm going to keep it 100% boxing. You understand? And with that said, let's go ahead and get into what Kenneth Sims Jr. had to say regarding Subriel Matias.
Are you looking at Barroso as is that the fight for you now?
That's what I want.
That's the fight you want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just that's a fight I want as far as
Let's start it over.
For now, are you looking at Barroso as is that the fight for you now?
That's the fight I want.
That's the fight you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Isn't Barroso the
That's
one
what I
that
want
Tio was
as far as,
ducking?
like-
He was chasing Teofimo Lopez around, but Teofimo Lopez didn't want that Barroso smoke. Was that it? Or am I wrong? Am I thinking about another fighter? Right? But anyway, let's go.
getting through that WBA
Yeah.
puzzle.
Yeah.
But in the big picture, I really want to fight any of those top guys at 140.
What is it for you? Is it the belts for you? Is it the money for you?
Great question. Because in my last video, I spoke about us having to learn what the motivations of these fighters are, right? Because if his answer is all about the money for him, then the Subriel Matias, in order for them to just have plausible deniability and not take that fight, all they got to do is offer him a low ball offer, right? The question that I have is, if Subriel Matias does offer him a fight, is he willing to sacrifice and bet on himself and take that fight just to put himself in a position to be a champion and have leverage for the other bigger fights? Let's go.
I got kids. I gotta take care of my family.
Money is what it is, man.
So
That's
he's
really
about
what
his
I'm saying,
bag.
Like the Barroso, that if I'm going for that WBA,
Right.
that's the. But in the big picture, I need to take care of my family. And
Yeah.
I want
Understandable.
Like I know they ain't gonna fight me unless they have to, unless it's called for.
So this is again, right? I wonder if this even includes Subriel Matias. He said he knows that the top guys are not going to fight him unless they have to. And we know that the way boxing is going right now, that seems to be like the trend. It's almost like you got to back a fighter into the corner now just to get that fighter to prove that they want to be great, right? So I kind of understand what he's saying by that. Let's go.
With those big names.
Yeah.
Like I ain't got no beef with nobody. It's all business.
Yeah.
Teofimo, like Devin, that's my boy. Devin, my boy. But if we got box, we got box. It's boxing.
That's what I'm talking
All
about.
them guys. I know Regis coming off a loss, but even something like that, just to show people I could pretty much do the same thing that happened to him.
Exactly, because I like that. I like the fact that he included Regis Prograis, because Regis Prograis is still somebody in there. I thought that Subriel Matias was going to give Regis Prograis a call, being that before Regis Prograis had the Devin Haney fight, he was even willing to fight Subriel Matias, right? Because Regis is one that said he wanted that Subriel smoke too. All right, so we can get into a video about that. But I think that the harder fight for Subriel Matias would actually be Kenneth Sims Jr. Let's go.
That last fight.
Right. What's the big name out there that you like, man? I handle him, and that gets me where I need to be. Like, what fight is it? You know what I mean? What
I think any of those guys I just said.
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia. The names.
Most winnable fight. I mean, most winnable.
All
fight.
of them winnable.
Yeah.
Like even the Matias dude.
Yeah.
When he was fighting.
Yeah.
Coach K texted me like, "Yo, we could beat this dude."
Yeah.
So if they call me for that fight with the right and it's looking right, you gonna say yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anybody that haven't seen you, describe your.
All right, y'all go look at the interview for the rest. He said even the Matias guy, Porter didn't even pull a name up. Porter didn't bring it up and say, what about this guy? He said himself, even Matias can get this. Even Matias can get this smoke. Yeah, we saw his last fight. The whole time he was fighting, Coach K was texting me saying, we'll beat this guy. So I say, okay, look, Subriel Matias coming off a hand injury, right? If he's not fighting Teofimo Lopez next, if he's not fighting Devin Haney next, if he's not fighting Gary Antoine Russell next, right? Because that's the other one that was talking that smack and calling out Subriel Matias. Subriel Matias said, Gary don't want that smoke. Kenneth Sims said he want that smoke. Kenneth Sims Jr. said he want that Subriel Matias smoke, and if they call him, that fight is going to happen. So the question I have is, can Subriel Matias, a.k.a. the one I call the Puerto Rican stepper, a.k.a. the one they call Brownie, a.k.a. the one that the opponents call No Mas Tias, is he willing to call Kenneth Sims Jr. team and say, listen, I want you to stand on what you say? I didn't play the part because y'all got to go back and look at the rest of the video. But Kenneth Sims was saying that, most of his opponents just gave up. Ain't no quitting in Kenneth Sims. Ain't no quit in Kenneth Sims Jr. So if you're a Subriel Matias fans, right, are you gonna do the same thing that you did to Devin Haney? Are you gonna do the same thing you did to Teofimo Lopez, right? Are you gonna start talking about how nobody is talking about Subriel Matias when we got Kenneth Sims Jr. raising his hand saying, yes, they call me, I'm taking that fight if the money is right. And we all know Kenneth Sims Jr., he ain't trying to ask for no all of these millions of dollars. Like, he's a reasonable guy, right? And the other thing I like about Kenneth Sims Jr. is because I relate to his spirit. He has sickle cell, which is not an excuse, right? Because he's dealing with it the way he is. And shout out to him. I had a friend who has sickle cell and passed. A good friend. You understand? I myself, a lot of people don't know, and those who watch my channel know, though, I have multiple sclerosis, right? So I exercise and I work out with the like my life depends on it, right? I go super hard, harder than the average person, just because of that fact alone. So I can understand his mindset with him having to overcome, right, sickle cell the way he does. It's almost like he got a time clock, not on his life, but on what he'll be able to physically do. So he's putting everything down right now. I say that if he thinks that he got the gifts, the attributes to face somebody like Subriel Matias is looking for his next opponent, there he is right there. Now, if Subriel Matias fans say he's really about his legacy, then we're going to say, listen, okay, we want you to fight Devin Haney. We want you to fight Teofimo Lopez, but they scared right now. So until that happens, can you just get rid of this guy that was talking smack saying that he'll beat you? Can you prove that you can make Kenneth Sims Jr. quit on a stool the way you did your last 5 opponents? Can you, Subriel Matias? I want to know. The people want to know. Because the man called you out on a popular boxing podcast, and he does have skills and abilities. He's already caused a couple of upsets, right? Let's go over some of the attributes here before I end the video. We looking at CBS News right here, right? CBS Channel 2, Chicago boxer Kenneth Sims Jr. reaches #2 world ranking with the hopes for a world title. So, y'all can't say he's a nobody. He's ranked #2. Now, with that said, he's taller than Subriel Matias, right? But his arm reach is significantly shorter by 2 inches. Now, with the style that Subriel Matias has, that could actually cause a problem. But I feel like Kenneth Sims Jr. can offset the reach disparity because he has such good footwork and ring generalship. Excuse me. Right? Good countering, sharp, crisp fighter, right? High IQ. You understand? All the attributes that'll give Subriel Matias some issues, right? Because even though Subriel Matias, the last fighter he's been in there that had any resemblance of any type of ring generalship was Maxim. And rest in peace to him. I believe he was the one that died, right? But he didn't have the ability that a Kenneth Sims Jr. has, or a Devin Haney has, or a Teofimo has, right? These are more complete fighters. So what do you guys think about Kenneth Sims Jr. saying that he wants that Subriel Matias smoke, that the whole time Subriel Matias was putting a beating on Ergashev? Coach K was texting him saying, we can beat this guy. And do you think Subriel Matias should or will take the risk and fight Kenneth Sims Jr., or is he going to babysit the IBF belt waiting on Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez? Get in the comment section out your feelings. That's my content for the day. I thank you for taking the time to check out the content. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button for your boy. If you're new to the channel, I welcome you to become part of the Tough Glove family. We're a small family, but we're a strong family. You understand? And you don't have to agree with everything I say. All you got to do is do what I do and love the sport of boxing. Tough Glove Boxing, we out.
You ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get the hell up out of here.